Very amicable sight there. I did see some trouble outside the stadium tonight, sadly. I saw Paris Saint-Germain supporters, and there are some of them spitting and verbally abusing a man because he was coloured, and he was a Paris Saint-Germain supporter himself. That needs to be said, I think, occasionally. Anyway, there's the Paris Saint-Germain side. Bernard Lamer's back in goal, despite the fact that he failed a drug test and was dropped from the French squad. They've made 3 changes. Didier Domi is in defence. Leonardo, the Brazilian, back in after missing last weekend's game. And Bruno Ngotti back in defence, the man who stroked that magnificent free kick which won them the cup. There's the Liverpool side, surprisingly, and for the Liverpudlians, tragically beaten at home by Coventry at the weekend on Sunday. Mark Wright is back in his place. He missed that game. And starting the match up front will be Stan Collymore alongside Robbie Fowler. And between them, they've scored 8 goals in this competition. Barnes, of course, John Barnes, the captain of the side. We might eventually see there we are. Collymore and Fowler together, and McManaman, who's only scored 1 goal in the competition. But of course, if you've been watching Eurosport and our coverage of Liverpool, both in Sion and Bergen, he was a very influential player in these games. Well, the game starts, and I wonder if Liverpool realise that they haven't done at least the current players haven't done all that well in French soil when playing French teams, beaten by Auxerre in the UEFA Cup and by Saint-Etienne way back in 1977 in the European Cup. But the interesting thing is they did win the second legs and went through. Of course, in 1977 they won the European Cup itself. So if they'd been rather shaky having crossed the channel, when they went back again, they reasserted themselves. Try to put that forward. That's the young defender, 21-year-old Domi, coming in from the back. Lovely little ball through to Koe, and driven in there by Benoit Koe, the man they bought from Nantes last season. He controlled that well. You can see he tried to curl it round. Well, David James really has been tested. Now Patrice Loco, beautiful little ball inside, right across there by Fournier. They really have to watch the speed of the flanks of the Paris Saint-Germain side. They're very, very quick. Here's the other side. Leonardo's just inside the box there. On the left-hand side, Ricardo, the Brazilian coach, coming very animated there. I think he likes the sprightly way that Paris Saint-Germain have started his game, and Liverpool looking very nervy, which is very surprising. And I wonder if they're carrying an aftermath from that defeat in the Premier Division. And there's the man who blew the jerseys, as it were, right in the last seconds of the game. David James flapping it across. He can't afford to flap at this one. It's underway. McAteer tries to come in there. That's in, but I think Loco judged offside, and he wasn't. If you can look at the linesman very quickly, just a subliminal glimpse of him there. He had his flag up very quickly. By my evaluation, he wasn't offside. Well, Patrice Loco scored 14 goals in all between the French League and this competition. It's very sharp, but what they have been doing, Paris Saint-Germain, in the games is playing them only for 3/4 of the game. That's Fournier again. Loco. Well, that's flapped at by James. And again, Koe, Leonardo. The Brazilian has broken the deadlock in exactly 10 minutes. Oh dear, look at James, caught in no man's land. He couldn't get back again. Struggled there, and the defense left utterly exposed. And that nervous strain that I think has been transfusing this Liverpool defense since the start of the game really snapping that time, and in came that deadly finisher, Leonardo. That's his 10th goal of the season. This time Vincent Guerra, and rattling that in. He's the local boy, born and bred in the shadow of the Parc des Princes. Still to score in this competition. Not as good a player as he was 2 years ago. He sustained a very serious knee injury. Missed 4 months of football, but a very industrious worker in midfield. Leroy, another young man, Joe Fagan and Roy Evans there. Constant conversations going on in that dugout. There's Coy again, Patrice Loco, and coming forward again was Leonardo. Now let's see this ball driven in. There we are. Oh dear. Well, no, I think he was well onside. Bjornaby. Now McAteer. Curled in, and there, touched by Fowler. Redknapp curling it in, and there came Fowler, scorer of 6 European goals this season. Indeed, it was against Sion he scored his first ever European goal. Well, Ricardo is in joint management with Joel Batz. He doesn't possess a French national coaching certificate, so they don't call him officially the coach, although he is. Bjornaby. Very ineffective on the left-hand side, Bjornaby tonight. He plays that very functional role, going up and down the left, swinging balls very quickly. That's McManaman. Barnes tried to dab that through. Collymore. Bjornaby ideally placed. And there's a header by Fowler. Not enough snap in that. Well, I'm sure Robbie Fowler had nothing much of an alternative there. Tried to loop that over. Well, there's been no pressure put on Paul Le Guen, this very versatile player in central defense. Didier Domi, youngster wanting to come forward. There's his run. James exposed again. Well, it's a very good run that, but I wonder, I think he might have pulled something as he went forward on the left-hand side. He's not too happy. Bjornaby. Now Collymore. Been rather insipid so far, Collymore. And that's well off. Lama didn't need to move for that at all. Collymore's only scored a couple of goals in the tournament. Very much a player whose form is erratic. You can hardly predict how he's going to play in a game. Little tongue lashing there from Ricardo. That's Coy. We haven't seen any great runs from McManaman. A little bit subdued tonight. Playing the ball across the field. Now Rai. Leonardo. 2 Brazilians together. And free kick, I think. McManaman coming in. Well, I spoke to Steve McManaman yesterday, and he's very confident about this. The one thing he did say is that the league defeat on Sunday would not affect the performance. Well, I think he's wrong in that respect. Look, a very depressed side at the moment. That's Ngotti, little deflection there. That could have gone anywhere. Ngotti. That's the first slack pass out of defense we've had from Paris Saint-Germain. Collymore, run for Fowler, can he let fly? He does! Nicely driven in. Again, little alternative for him. He had to go for a difficult angle, and Lama crouching behind it. Well, yes, I thought so. Didier Domi did injure himself, and he drew up, and I thought they would give him a couple of minutes to find out if he could play himself out of it. But Algerino now comes on to take his place. Jimmy Algerino. Free kick, no. And driven in hard by Leroy. Loco, it's in. Benoit Coe, the second goal. And what a shambles that Liverpool defense was. 3 minutes from half-time. The goal could not have come at a worse juncture. Lovely play in the far side by Leroy. Loco lets it go, and although Coe is a better striker of the ball than that, it's been that kind of night. Both the goalkeeper and Mark Wright wrong-footed. Barnes once again on the left-hand side for Robbie Fowler, who told Eurosport yesterday that without a doubt the goal he scored in Bergen from just about in here, in that area of the penalty area, was the best he'd ever scored. And that wasn't the best shot at goal. Liverpool needs something out of this second half very quickly. Just touch forward. High near by Fournier. Trying to get this man into action. Patrice Loco. Scored 10 goals in the league, Loco. I think perhaps Paris would expect something like 20 goals out of this man. He certainly scored them when he was with Nantes. Hesitation there by Lama, and that's in! McManaman comes in, and I think he's given offside. Watch it. Well, we've had some dreadful decisions in this game already. The ball played down to him, and he was onside again. Well, I don't think the match officials can be terribly proud, especially the assistant referees, and the way the line has been run tonight. And just part of the epidemic, and talking about epidemics, this man here, Lama, seems to be part of the frenzy of French goalkeeping at the moment. We've seen the same of Fabien Barthez, who played in the French goal against Sweden and did things like this. But the running of the line has become really one of the bad aspects of modern football at the moment. Some terrible decisions. And there's a yellow card. Steve Harkness. Well, the score could have been something like 4-1 for Paris Saint-Germain if the officials had got it right. Leonardo, watch Rai, he's superb in the air. Of his 8 goals in the league, 4 have come from headers. And look at James. Well, he's a very fine goalkeeper, but he's going through a very rocky passage at the moment, taking into account what happened last Sunday. I certainly think he was at fault in these 2 goals. That's more like McManaman, more positive. Fournier picks him up though. Touch of confidence off the French side. Pushed in there by Leroy. Now Loco. Right going with them. Good play by Loco. And Leonardo just tried to be a little clever by half there, and that could really upset this Liverpool defence if they allow Loco that kind of freedom. Shot of Gérard Houllier there, the former French national coach. He's had a very ineffective game tonight, Stig Barnaby. That was Leonardo. And the arm used. Free kick is in there, and I'm sure Liverpool supporters, the bench and the players sighed with relief when he clutched that first time. They badly need a goal. As I said earlier, they were beaten the last twice in French soil. On both occasions 2-0, and came back very strongly at Anfield. Now Bjornaby. John Barnes, broad smile on his face. And there's Lama committing himself. Wright was very effective getting into the box at that time and just putting just a little bit too much under the ball. Mistake there by Lama, should have been punished. More instruction from Ricardo, all apologetic about it. Liverpool haven't been able to get any dynamic forward movement in this game. Now Loco wants to go himself. Well, he had Leonardo inside him, just a trifle selfish. Played alongside Pedros, and between them 2 seasons ago for Nantes, they scored 36 goals. Incredible. Now, Coy, he played just behind him for Nantes. Very fast player indeed. Lovely turn of the ball, and this time James does well. Well, in this first period of the second half, Paris Saint-Germain seemed to have been the edge come off the play, but putting a little more pace into the game. Barnes, and the game has flowed past John Barnes rather uncomfortably for Liverpool tonight. Got back by Fowler. McManaman was coming in at the back. Little shout of encouragement there. Well, a Liverpool notch one here. They could still be in this tie with a vengeance. Deli Valdez, substitute. Scorer of 3 European goals this season. Bjornaby with it. That's Wright trying to get there. Well taken by Rye, using his height defensively this time. Thomas back. Rather careless ball though. Wright holding his head. It's already just recovered from injury, and he got the back of the Brazilian's head there, right on the cheekbone, I think. Gil Bats on the right, Ricardo on the left. Loco, Leonardo. Free kick as Rye, I think, might want to take this. Well, he's powerful with both feet, this man. He might want to put shot at goal. Leaving it to Ngotti with the shot, and that wasn't far away. Well, I wouldn't be at all surprised from this view. We see a sliver of the post being taken away. Oh, yes. Almost in. You could see the anxious turnings of the head there. What a game Leonardo's had. Busting forward dynamically. Oh. Well, I don't want to suggest he's lost faith in his hands for the kind of ropey game he's had tonight, but quite frankly, that's all he had left to do. Thomas. Well, people have said that Liverpool indulge in too many passes. There's been a sign of that tonight, and that was a bad missed pass. So where did he go again? Coy using that pace of his. McAteer going with him. Being forced into a much more defensive role, and I think they would like to see this man attacking down the right-hand side, getting the early balls in, which he does superbly well when he's on form. Still a chance for Liverpool if they notch one, pull one back. It's essential in European football at any level not to concede a goal at home. That's the first objective. Referee Mr. Krug from Germany waving play on there. John Barnes. Matteo putting that forward. McManaman can't keep it in. Good performance by Laurent Fournier tonight. And on comes Pouget. Pouget is the man they signed from Servette Geneva in the midwinter break. The French call a man who's signed in the winter break a joker. No joker this. He can really hit the back of the net. He was very prolific goal scorer with Metz, which he left in the summer to go to Swiss football, and now he's back with Paris Saint-Germain. Scored a goal last week in the league against Rennes when Paris Saint-Germain drew 1-1. One of the 6 draws they've had at home and 1 defeat, which is very unlike them. This used to be a real citadel, the Parc des Princes, in the past 4 seasons. You had to be an exceptional team to win here. Ole Guen. Well, I think Liverpool, in midfield in particular, coming from Liverpool, have flattered to deceive tonight. Some neat footwork, some neat passing, and then it's all evaporated on the edge of the penalty area. That won't please them at all. Pouget looks for the shot in his own, does very well to get in there. Yes, that's the third. Jerome Leroy, 7 minutes from the end, 3-0, and that really does put them in a very strong position indeed. The difference between 2 and 3 in European football is really significant. Had they conceded one at the other end, it would have been a totally different scenario for the return leg, but they've got a bit more breathing space now as a result of very good work by Pouget, cutting it back, and again bad marking, real determination, getting around Wright, who could not, dared not go into the tackle. Or there might have been a penalty kick, and then finished by Leroy. You could say they're happy. So this crowd of, I think, just over 35,000, and Alou has come on for Leroy. He's a youngster, Leroy, just 21, and I think he might have run himself out a little bit. Well, he's played his part. They've taken him off, and he's been overcome. Part of the learning process. An emotional night for a youngster who might just have scored the goal, and I don't want to arouse the ire of my Liverpudlian friends, of whom I have many. But he might just have scored a goal that's put him in the final, because to pull back 3 in Paris Saint-Germain is going to be a formidable task indeed for any team. I have to add the rider, of course, that these Liverpool supporters there have seen some great nights at Anfield when they've been inspired by the Kop and by supporters being a little bit more positive than they were there with their body language. But that goal makes them much more comfortable. Disappointing night indeed for Liverpool, well below their best form. There they go again. This is Bernard-Alou, PSG. Oh, that would have done it. That would have been the burial ceremony. Nice touch inside by Alou. The two substitutes combining well. And a brilliant tackle eventually by Steve Harkness. There we are, that's the time remaining. A goal would keep them in contention, Liverpool. Pouget. It's just that he now seems so flat and listless. Alou. Oh, Vincent Guerin was wanting the 1-2. Now this is where they've got to be effective. And look at that, the ball played back the way again by Redknapp. That's been symptomatic of the uncertainty of the play tonight. It needed far more forward movement. Well, I did point out that they've lost twice in French soil and come back, but the leeway this time is formidable. The last 2 occasions, it was deficits of 2 goals. Well, I think you can take it from that body language that these 2 men regard this result as extremely important indeed. I think that jobs were at stake. If they were to fail to get second place in the French First Division, because Nantes are coming up on them very quickly, and they didn't get into the Champions League, and they failed in the Cup Winners' Cup, then I think